There's the most beautiful stone floor. Oh, it smells lovely. Oh, it smells like a milking parlour. And there's these two huge, ginormous stainless steel, I suppose they're almost like huge baths. And this one here is absolutely full and the other one is empty. Immediately, my daughter's just pointed out, Libiana, what have you just spotted in there?
In the big bath is some curds and whey.
So it is literally curds and whey, is that right?
Yeah. So this morning we started off, that was full of milk, 2,500 litres. You heat it up, you add the starter culture, you add the rennet, and then you cut the curd into curds and whey. So you're leaving milk behind, and that's when you start recognising it as cheese. It's just like solid milk.
So at this point, this has got nothing else than the starter culture. Is that? Can I try a little bit?
Yes. It has starter culture.
Yeah.
Blue mould is in, rennet, and that's it.
Oh, it's very sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a very slow acidifying recipe, so it takes a long time to get acid.
And how long will it stay in here for?
We're getting ready at 2 o'clock, but in about 15 minutes we have to ladle it from here to there.
So the total time in this bath is how long?
Well, it went in at 7 a.m., so it's now 1:30, 6.5 hours in here.
And what's the process? It's acidifying in here, you say?
Well, not really. It's a very slow acidifying recipe. So what we did is added the rennet in here, turned it into curd, then cut it, and we have curds and whey. And now we're going to ladle the curd into the draining trolley, and it's going to acidify overnight. So it takes about 24 hours to make.
This cheese you made this morning?
Well, we made it yesterday.
Yeah.
It sat in that trolley draining and acidifying overnight, and this morning we milled it, salted it, and put it in the hoops.
Looks fantastic, but it smells more... What's the word? It's got some strength to it now.
Yeah, there's a lot more acid. You get a fruity kind of lemony acid smell. But the interesting thing is this room is called the hastener. Very warm, very humid. And this is the first stage where that microflora starts to appear on the outside. So you get lovely yeasts and molds growing in about 3 or 4 days. And it smells very much like pear drops.
Yeah.
Very fruity, kind of fermented pear.
I can smell. Is that a particular chemical that's coming off it that has that smell?
It's the yeast. It's the yeasts. They grow on the outside, and that's the first stage to getting a good coat.
Interesting what you just said. You said every room has its own environment.
Yeah, we've got 4 rooms in here. So the make room, the first room, the hastener, they spend 5 days in there draining, developing a coat. Then they go into the third room. It's called the drying room. Self-explanatory, just trying it out a bit, and then the maturing room, the last room, and as we go through, you can experience organoleptically all the different environments. These are on wood shelves. Why are they on wood shelves? I'll show you why. Okay, come over here. Put your hand on this wood. Feel it.
Cold.
Well, sort of. Now put your hand on this metal. Which one's colder?
Metal.
Metal's colder. Can I tell you a secret? Wow. They're both exactly the same temperature. They're in the same room. Why does the metal feel colder? What's it doing to your hand?
Because it's a heat conductor.
That's right. You're exactly right.
And what is a heat insulator?
That's right. And it's pulling the heat out of your hand and making it feel cold. And it would do the same thing for cheese. If I put cheese on that, it would pull moisture and heat through the cheese and ruin it. She's clever.
She is, isn't she? It's different in here again, isn't it?
I like the smell. It's very fresh, kind of appley, winey. Because the cheeses are quite young. You can see they're just starting to develop their coats. Those are the orange and a little bit of blue and white. But when we come in here...
This has a totally different smell.
And what's affecting your children right now is the ammonia.
Yeah, it's literally the ammonia. It hits you like a wall as you walk in, and bless you, Libiana's actually covering her face at the moment. You liked the smell in the other room, didn't you?
Yes.
And what's the smell like in here?
Sort of like salty mud.
Yeah, salty mud. Good, yeah.
Can you
edit
that out?
We'll make sure that doesn't go in. So
it's ammonia. Look what it does to the copper.
It has. It's turned the copper green, hasn't it?
Very strong. We have to suck out the air and recirculate it, otherwise it will damage equipment, stainless steel. But the ammonia is coming from the blue.
From the actual the yeast.
No, the blue is a penicillium. It's a mold. It's breaking down the cheese, giving it that creamy texture, and it releases ammonia as part of that.
So if we tasted the cheese in the room that we've just come out of, that would be tasting what?
It would be white, very crumbly, acid, almost like a Lancashire.
Right.
You wouldn't recognize it as a blue at all. It's only after we pierce it, and we have a machine that pierces it, and the air goes into the cheese, and then it starts to turn blue.
How incredible. What an amazing process. And how long has it taken to get them from that sort of fresh, appley young to this sort of mature, robust cheese that we're seeing in here?
Well, they come in here at about 8 weeks, and they'll hang around another 8 weeks maturing.